Daniel Umes had always been the outsider of his own family, the quiet shadow standing behind the blinding light of his older brother, Chief Obinna Ume. While Obinna was celebrated, wealthy, loud, and feared, Daniel was politely ignored, underestimated, and often forgotten. But on Christmas Eve, after 10 long years away from home, a trembling phone call from his mother pulled him back. Her voice was soft, urgent, almost frightened as she said, "Come home, my son. This Christmas, we need you." When Daniel returned, he immediately felt something was wrong. Conversation stopped when he walked in. People exchanged uneasy glances, and Obinna, who once mocked him with casual insults, now watched him with uneven breath and nervous eyes. At Christmas dinner, the tension wrapped around the room like a knot tightening. Obinna bragged loudly about his latest businesses. Everyone forced laughter. Everyone except Mama, whose hand shook every time she looked at Daniel. Suddenly, she stood up from the table, her eyes glassy with years of held-in tears. "There is something I must say," she murmured. Obinna immediately tried to stop her. "Mama, don't start. Sit down." But she didn't. Instead, she walked into her room and returned carrying a worn brown envelope. She handed it directly to Daniel. "My son, you deserve to know this." Obinna rose from his chair, voice sharp and rising. "Mama," I said, "sit down." His command cracked through the room like thunder, but Daniel had already opened the envelope. Inside were 3 documents: a birth certificate, an old medical report, and a handwritten letter. Daniel's hands trembled as he read the first document. The father's name on his birth certificate was not Mr. Ume. It was a completely different man of influence, a man whose wealth and lineage far surpassed even Obinna's. Daniel whispered, "Mama, what is this?" She broke into tears. "I wanted to tell you, but she pointed at Obinna, would not let me." Obinna's face twisted, his confidence cracking. Daniel unfolded the second document. It was a medical report confirming that his biological father was the rightful heir to a massive ancestral property Obinna had illegally taken control of, property he had used to build his empire. A silent gasp moved through the table. Daniel felt something new inside him: strength, clarity, and the truth he had been denied all his life. Then he opened the final item, the letter. It was written by Mama's late sister, who had been present the night Daniel was born. The letter detailed everything: Obinna's threats, his manipulation, his forged documents, the deception that stole Daniel's inheritance. She confessed she had kept the letter hidden for years to protect Mama, but before her death, guilt forced her to write everything down. Daniel lifted his eyes to Obinna. "You knew the truth all my life, and you let me believe I didn't belong." Obinna's voice shook with anger. "You were weak. You couldn't handle the truth. Out, plunging them back into blackness." "Daniel," Obinna whispered, his voice low and trembling, "you've ruined everything." There was movement. Sharp hand. Daniel shoved himself backward, hitting the wall behind him. A second scream rose from the living room. It was Aunt Nena, or perhaps Mama. Daniel couldn't tell. He pushed through the dark, hands outstretched, trying to find her. His fingers finally brushed the shoulder frail, trembling. Mama's hand grabbed his wrist. "Daniel," she whispered, voice shaking. "Obinna has lost his mind." Before Daniel could respond, a heavy thud sounded near the kitchen door. Someone was running, or chasing. Daniel pulled Mama toward him, trying to shield her. "We need light," he said urgently. His hand slid along the wall until he found his phone in his pocket. He turned on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness and revealed what he hadn't dared imagine. Obinna was standing near the hallway, breathing hard, his hand gripping a metal rod, one from the broken Christmas decorations. On the floor beside him lay Uncle Chike, motionless, blood trickling from his forehead. Daniel's stomach twisted. "Obinna, what have you done?" Obinna didn't answer. His eyes were fixed on the brown envelope clutched in Daniel's hand. "Give me that," he growled. Daniel shook his head slowly. "No." Obinna took one step forward. Mama screamed. Daniel tightened his grip on the envelope. "This is the truth," he said evenly. "You can't destroy it. Truth." Obinna barked out a bitter laugh. "You think the world cares about truth? They care about power, Daniel. Power I worked for. Power you don't deserve." Daniel kept the flashlight on him, but his pulse raced. You stole everything from me. Obina's voice softened dangerously. I gave you a life. You think anyone would have cared about you? You think anyone would have followed a boy whose father abandoned him before he was born? That struck something deep, something old, something raw. Daniel stepped forward. My father didn't abandon me. You buried him in silence. A flicker of guilt or fear crossed Obina's face, but it vanished quickly. Give me the envelope. He lunged. Daniel jerked back, grabbing Mama's arm as Obina swung the rod again, hitting the wall with a loud crack. The entire family erupted into screams as cousins and uncles scattered into corners. Daniel backed toward the front door, pulling Mama along, but Obina was faster than he looked. He blocked the exit, panting heavily. Nobody leaves, Obina said. Not until I fix this. Mama clung to Daniel. Run, she whispered. Please, just run. But Daniel couldn't run. Not anymore. Not again. He lifted the flashlight higher and then he noticed something behind Obina. Someone was standing in the open doorway of the kitchen. It was Sarah, Obina's wife. Her face was streaked with tears, and in her hand, she held a small black phone. She was recording every word, every threat, every swing of the metal rod. Her voice trembled, but she spoke clearly. It's over, Obina. You're destroying everything. I'm sending this to the police. Obina spun around, furious. Sarah, turn that off. But she didn't move. The entire room seemed to hold its breath. Daniel felt the power shift subtle, but unmistakably. Sarah stepped forward, the phone still recording. You've done enough, she said. The world will finally see who you really are. Obina's lips curled into a cold smile. You think you can betray me in my own house? He took a step toward her. Sarah stepped back. Daniel lunged forward. The phone suddenly slipped from her hand and hit the floor. The flashlight flickered as Daniel reached for her. But something or someone moved faster. A shadow rushed in from the back door. A figure wrapped in a black jacket, face hidden, burst into the living room. Everyone screamed. The figure grabbed the phone from the floor, looked up at Daniel, then at Obina, and ran straight out the door into the night. Obina roared and chased after them. Sarah collapsed into Daniel's arms. Who was that? She cried. Daniel stared out into the darkness, his heart pounding. He didn't know the answer, but he knew one thing for certain. That person didn't come for the family. They came for the truth. The envelope trembled in Daniel's hand. Whoever that shadow was, they now held the only evidence that could destroy Obinor, protect him forever. And Daniel suddenly realized, exposing the secret was only the beginning.